What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be talking about The Watchers. So let's get into that. Hi, my name is Leo, and if you guys like talking about things, movies, TV shows, video game related, or just anything nerdy, you have come to the right place. And like I said, today we'll be talking about The Watchers. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Now, I had some pretty high hopes going into this movie, being that M. Night Shyamalan was going to be the producer, and I believe his daughter, I'm going to be butchering this name, so I'm sorry, but Ishana Night Shyamalan. And looking at her IMDb page, I believe this is also her directorial debut, so congratulations to her. This was a pretty fun movie that I liked overall. Well, obviously, we'll get more into my thoughts in a little bit later, but basically, the premise of this movie is these people get stuck in the woods, and they're in this kind of like viewing kind of space in a way, and we have the watchers that come every night and just watch them, and we don't know what the reason why they're watching them until obviously a little bit later on in the film and stuff when they start explaining that. But that is the overall basic premise. They're stuck in this forest. They are being watched by the watchers every night, for a specific reason, as they start to uncover the mysteries of what's actually going on. But before I give you my thoughts about The Watcher, make sure to let me know what you guys thought about this movie in the comment section down below. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Join the Nerd Talk family if you guys love what you are watching and seeing. And let's go ahead and get into the pros. Now, my initial pro is that I visually really enjoy this movie. It's a very dark, eerie type of film where you're in this dark, foggy woods, and even just kind of the visual of this kind of viewing room that they're in when you're outside in the woods at night and you just see the yellow light and the glass and everything inside of it. It's a nice visual effect. I like the effect of that, and kind of where it seems very ominous and creepy and you feel like you're stuck and you have nowhere to go. I do like what Ishana did here. And this movie is one of those that it's definitely M. Night Shyamalan vibe. Of course, him being a producer, and then Ishana Night Shyamalan being the director, it has a lot of that Shyamalanism within the film, which I do enjoy. I like most of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, so to kind of see that seep into her movie is definitely nice to see. You like that vibe that we get here in this film. I also enjoy the concept of the Watchers. Once we delve a little deeper into what they are, I enjoy the route that they went. Maybe it wasn't the route that I was looking for. Maybe it wasn't the most satisfying route, but what they did was kind of interesting. I like how they explain what the Watchers are, and the overall design of the Watchers when they're in their most monstrous form is pretty interesting as well. So I do like that visual. You never get to see the Watcher in its full monstrous form fully without it being like kind of obscured by shadows, or just seeing the face, or just seeing the claws, or seeing them in the distance. You never get to see a full depiction of what the Watchers look like in the most monstrous form. You do see them in other forms that you start learning about as the movie goes on. But overall, I do enjoy the overall shape and design of the monster. I'm not too sure how much of it was practical, how much of it was CGI, but besides that, it was a nice design. I did enjoy the Watcher's design overall. And I think Ishana Night Shyamalan did a fantastic job directing. You have a father that is a world-class director helping her by being the producer. You definitely see a lot of that, and it shows in the film. It was directed very well. It was shot very well. So the movie was nice to look at. I definitely enjoyed it. It was pretty dark. It's a darker movie than than some other movies. So sometimes it can be kind of hard to see. Some things are a little bit more obscured in the shadows and stuff like that. So it's an overall pretty dark movie. But still, the directing style, the visuals and stuff like that, I did thoroughly enjoy throughout the entire film. And this movie does have some intense moments when, our main character starts going into like the burrows of where the Watchers stay during the daytime, them being chased towards the end of the film and stuff, with all the Watchers just coming out of these burrows and just screaming at them and chasing them like crazy. So there's some nice intense moments in this movie. I don't necessarily think this movie is a scary film. It's more of an intense thriller in a way. But I did enjoy some of those tense moments that we get, sprinkled in throughout the entire film. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the cons. And I have a lot to discuss here. One, being a Shyamalan film, you go in expecting a twist, and that is just the Shyamalanism. I'm gonna say Shyamalan a lot of times in this review, but the Shyamalanisms of their directing style, and their filmmaking style is that there's always gonna be a twist at the end, and Ishana does the same thing where she has a twist in this film, and not that the twist wasn't interesting because it was interesting. I figured it out pretty early on. You can kind of tell what was going on pretty early on. And the way it was revealed, I don't think was impactful enough. It wasn't that punch like, oh my God, that's fucking crazy. It didn't feel like that. It was kind of more of like, even if you didn't know that was gonna be the twist, which I was able to figure out, but even if you didn't know, you would have been like, huh, okay, that's interesting. You know, so I think the twist wasn't as impactful, and I think they tried the twist overstayed its welcome, in my opinion, where the movie felt so long towards the end. This movie felt so long in general. I'll get more into that later, but the twist, you had the main twist, and then you had a secondary twist, and you had like a third twist within there, and they just didn't they didn't make each other feel more significant. It felt a little lackluster in the overall twist of what our main villain, or whatever you want to call this person, uh, is, or whatever the case may be, right? The overall twist just wasn't as impactful as I was hoping for it to be. And then we have all of our characters, and all of our characters felt kind of like generic. We don't go too far into their backstory. It's kind of more so like, oh, how long have you been here? Oh, I've been here for 3 months. I have been here for 5 months. There's no way out. You get a little bit of their backstory. Oh, this is my husband. This is what I used to do before. The generic stuff. And the characters overall, I didn't care whether they lived or died, to be honest. If the Watchers got them, the Watchers got them. Okay. I didn't care too much about the characters throughout the entire film. And even the way our main character kind of even gets into the situation to begin with, this is not really a spoiler, but she works in like a pet pet shop or something, and her manager tells her, "Hey, you need to deliver this bird to the other side of Ireland." And she's like, "All right, I guess." And she drives, and they get stuck in the forest. So like even the setup for the movie wasn't even interesting or impactful, or like a good enough reason for her to even be in the situation to begin with. So there's a lot of things that just felt a little lackluster, didn't feel significant enough. And even something like the runtime, this movie, there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of repeating the same thing. There's a couple of nights where they go out, they explore, they hunt, they get resources, they come back to be there for the Watchers. And then the next day comes in, they go out, get some resources, they hunt, they come back to be there for the Watchers. So there's a little bit of that repetitiveness towards the middle of the movie, and then once you get into like the third act or so, where you start figuring out what's going on, what the Watchers are, why are they here, what is this structure even doing in the middle of the wilderness, it's just a big exposition dump that it's not satisfying of figuring out what the Watchers are. You enjoy what they are. It's an interesting concept of what the Watchers are, but the way you find out about it just feels like a big expedition dump, and it's such an easy explanation, or easy information gathering, that it just doesn't feel satisfying. So I think that's the number one word I can use for the Watchers. It's unsatisfying. It's a good concept. I enjoyed the movie. I didn't hate it. I definitely liked it. I would love to see more from Ashana Night Shyamalan. Maybe getting away from having her father produce movies for her. Get her own production company and stuff, or a production team, and not have, maybe, because maybe he might have influenced some of the production, how the movie turns out to be, of course, but I would like to see more of her work. I don't think she's a bad filmmaker. I think this movie is a great achievement for her, especially for being a directorial debut. It's a great concept. This is a very great concept. I just don't think it was executed properly. And this was based off of a novel or something like that. But just the execution was unsatisfying. It was boring at times. There was a great concept there. There was a lot of intrigue into what was going on. And when you start finding out what is actually going on, you're just like, oh, that's it. So that's kind of the flavor of this film, in my opinion. But overall, let me know what you guys thought about The Watchers in the comment section down below. I had a good enough time with it. I would rewatch this movie. It was fun enough. It was interesting enough. I would love to see more in this universe if that's the case. If not, I would love to see more of Ashana Night Shyamalan's work in the future as well. But again, if you guys like Tom and Thing movies, TV shows, or video game related, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next review. Thank you.